I am Doomsvince, and this is day 150 of Spawn Year.
Have I really been doing this for 150 days? Most of the time I have to close my eyes and concentrate hard to even remember the faces of my wife and son. 150 days might as well be 150 years. At least with each new item I review, I can mark off the days here in my journals. I have no other way of measuring time. Come to think of it, I'm at Doomsvince's mercy even when it comes to counting down the days. There really is no way to know if 24 hours or 24 days are passing between each review. I don't think that much time is going by in between, but a person's perception of time is relative to his environment. Mine is always dark. It may not even be the exact number of minutes or hours from the time one comic flies out of the grave to the next, and as Doomsvince continues to display supreme control of this space, considering I have yet to discern the true nature of this place, it's possible he has the power to manipulate time, or at least my understanding of it. So is this really Spawn Year? Like so many things, there is no way to be certain. Doomsvince says he wants me to fail, but something is keeping him true to his word, regardless of tricks and deceptions. I have reviewed everything he's assigned, all 149 items, and I remain unburied. However long that has truly taken, I am proud to say I am still here. And even though the nature of my situation enables me to chronicle this experience in great detail and helps me pad out these critiques when there just isn't a lot to discuss, I wonder if history will remember my singular, arduous adventure. It's certainly an odd tale, but assuming this isn't all in my mind, being forced to write about Spawn comics upon pain of spending eternity 12 feet under with Spawn comics has to rank somewhere on the unusual meter, you'd also think history would record a Spawn from hell destroying Zeus and reigning over the gods with Medusa for years and years, but that was conveniently and mysteriously left out of all the myths and epic poems according to the end of this story. Why Tony Twist running from the Roman mob got 3 issues, and the saga of future Spawn, Daniel Lanzo, got 4, while the origin of the very first Spawn who kills Zeus and essentially gives Hell and Malbolgia control over Olympus itself is reduced to 2 measly issues, I'll never understand. In this one, McElroy clears up how and why Ranius is chosen by Hell to be its Spawn, and that's about it. There's nothing about how long Hell has existed, or why most of the gods don't know about it, or what God is doing during all of this. I would have thought finding a clever way to fit these separate mythologies and theologies together would have been the allure of doing this story. But I guess not. Surely Hell isn't new as some of the gods surmise. We know Bolgi is thousands of years old and that he's just one of Hell's many rulers. I was surprised to see him here. I thought this Spawn was a product of the Rage of the Titans. How does Bolgi fit in, and why is that never mentioned again? But this does clear up a lot of ambiguous things from last time. Turns out Ranius really did die, and he really did make a deal with the devil from Hell. He was murdered by Zeus for being an illegitimate child of Zeus's father Cronus, who, coinciding with the original myth, ate his own children because he had a premonition that one of them would destroy him and take his empire, which Zeus ultimately does, growing up to despise his father after he's saved by his mother. Zeus is now as bad or worse than his father, ruling ruthlessly for his own gain and nothing more. He's a murderer and a rapist just as he is in the ancient stories. In the end, he pays for the same crimes as his father. He tries to get rid of Ranius, fearing he'll challenge him, and he creates his own foretold enemy just as his father did, though this time it's with a half-brother and not with a son, by taking Ranius's life and adulthood from him and also killing all his friends in the process. He invents a reason for Ranius to want him dead. Ranius may never have tried to overthrow Zeus if he'd just left well enough alone, which was precisely, of course, his father's fatal mistake. The son becoming the father and his fatal flaw being exactly his most hated trait of his father is a classic trope of ancient mythology, and one of many that permeates modern superhero comics. These themes last through the ages because they reflect inherent patterns we observe in human behavior. McElroy has a great handle on what these stories are for. Seeing that play out here gives more weight to Hades' line last issue, "Things never change," and this strikes me as a fitting end for Zeus. Once again, it's a story about mostly reprehensible, vengeful killers, and our hero isn't a hero, yet his motivations are solid if underdeveloped, and I'm not entirely unempathetic toward him. And this is what these myths were about, people making foolish choices and paying for them to give the reader a harsh moral allegory and depict the world as a place where actions have consequences. The situation is more intriguing than the archetypes involved. I like to see the implications of the Hellspawn ruling the gods explored, and my biggest complaint is McElroy's cop-out at the end, that none of this was recorded in history, and that's, quote, best left for another story. Let me guess, best left for a story you don't intend to tell. What's here is interesting but hurried, and if not to flesh out the early alternate history of the Spawn universe, what's this for? This leaves me baffled, with a lot of questions which aren't worth the few answers, but I would have never thought to ask. I like the spirit and tone of this story, and the art continues to impress, but I wanted to live in this period longer. Leaps and Bounds more fun and worth my time than last arc, but it's worth at least as many issues, and it needed them. And there you are, dear reader. You've lived with me through 150 critiques. 215 more, and we're home free, if Doomsvince lives up to his end of our bargain. The question I'm asking myself now is, will months or years have passed when I'm finally finished? Signed, Captain Logan.